Alrighty, y'all. Here we go. Okay, we back out in the garage again. Um, as you can see, I've got the 360 unwrapped, and but I'm going to be answering a couple of questions from some viewers today, and I'm also going to be giving you all a reason why I haven't been out here. And that's part of it. Okay, little explanation. Explanation time. So, I've been sick. Okay. As a matter of fact, I've been sick for a better part of an entire month, and I'm still sick right now, getting over bronchitis, um, which I caught that on the tail end of having COVID, and the particular strain of COVID that I got was bad enough that I was out of work for like 2 entire months, or not 2 entire months, but at least two entire weeks, and not real happy about that. But that's just the way it goes. The thing I want to stress to you all is, uh, it's been it's been a long road to get back to just get out here, okay. Uh, and I'll just go ahead and admit it. COVID has whipped my butt. All right, and so if you got somebody in your family or somebody around you who has COVID, please do be patient with them. I know it is hard. They're trying to do the best they can to get back to their life and make their life, better and back to the same way it was before. Okay, so what I'm going to stress to you all is that um, that's basically why I haven't been out here. I haven't produced any videos. I haven't done any work out here at all. I mean, I've not been out here to do anything. Period. So, um, which is not my plan, of course. I'd much rather be getting at least something done, but I haven't. So, I thought I'd come out here. I got a few minutes. I thought I'd come out here and I'd shoot a video about the 360. A couple of questions from some viewers. Okay. Now, back to. Oh, before I go any further with anything, I need to tell you all I'm up over 900 subscribers now, which is. It's amazing. I cannot imagine 900 subscribers. December 25th last year hit 500 subscribers. Now it's July and I've hit over 900. So, wow. Just wow. Can't imagine it. So, thank you. Truly, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do mean that. It's amazing. And I'm almost speechless. So, okay, let's get back to this. The 360. A couple of questions from a couple of viewers, subscribers, viewers. One is, let's get back to left and right sides of the engine. To make clear, this is always the left side. I'm touching it with my right hand. My right side is in reference to this side. This is not the right side. This is the left side. This is the right side. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're standing in front of the engine, you're standing beside it, one side or the other. This is always the right hand side. This is always the left hand side. When you look in a manual, such as one of these, or a factory service manual, which I don't have any out here, they're always going to refer to, sorry, they're always going to refer to the left and right side, the different sides of the engine. They're always going to refer to them when you, the mechanic, the engine builder, whatever, is sitting in the driver's seat. And when you're sitting in the driver's seat, guess what? That's just the opposite of standing in front of it. And then that would be, this is the right side, this is the left side. Okay? So, all right. Now that we got that out of the way, rocker arms. Is there a left and a right to the rocker arms? There is not. However, if you pay attention to the rocker arms, if you look, there is some minute differences in how they're made. If you look, this one right here, if you look at the push rod, where the push rod is, the little cut for the push rod to here, it kind of goes in a bit of an angle, just ever so slightly. It's not drastic. Let me get a straight edge to help you visualize it just a little bit better. But it's not real drastic. It's a small little amount. If I can get this straight edge out of here. Okay. So here we have, as you can see, this one seems to be, that's the exhaust, it seems to be very straight. But if we go over here, that one seems to be very straight too. But if you look right here in this particular area, you see how this is tapered off this way, but then on this side it's not. Okay, the big difference here is you have intake, exhaust. Okay, what you really want to be concerned with, regardless here, is you want to make sure that your rocker arms are perfectly lining up, the tips here, okay, your tip of your rocker arm is perfectly lining up with the valve stem. Okay, that's what you want to do. And you want to make sure that your cup here, your push rod is fully seated in the cup of the rocker arm. Okay, you also want to make sure that your push rod isn't binding anywhere in the cylinder head or on the block. As you can see though, there's tremendous clearance from the push rod to the block. If you also notice the unusual 59-degree push rod or rocker arm, lifter arrangement, that is leftover from the old A engine poly engines. Now, another viewer. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, so what you want to make sure of, you want to make sure that your rocker arm lines up with the push rod tip. Okay, lines up with the push rod. Okay, and that it fully seats in here. Okay, fully seats in there, in that cup. Okay, so that push rod has to seat fully into this cup, of course fully into the lifter as well, down there. But you want to make sure that it is clearing everything as the engine goes through its full revolutions. Okay, so full revolution, rotate and make sure none of the push rods are contacting any part of the cylinder head. So that's what you want to make sure. Now, another viewer posted oil light bushings. He read in the manual, You need to have your oil light bushings, you know, here, here, and here, and here, and here, you know, to clearance, give clearance here. Okay, let's get something out of the way. Oil light bushings, what are they? Okay, it's just basically, it is a pressed metal bushing that Chrysler came up with, I think, in the 40s. I could be wrong about the time frame. But that bushing most often is associated with like the input, the pilot bushing on a manual transmission equipped Mopar. Basically, that bushing is pressed metal and it has grease or lubricant pressed into it. Now, we're not talking about, you know, grease in like the common form, like what we think of. We're talking probably a very, very, very thick kind of grease. Now, it was somewhat, with that, it was somewhat self-lubricating. So, one of those little inventions that Chrysler engineers came up with, and it actually worked out beautifully. But when you are assembling a rocker shaft assembly like this, most of the time, and I stress that word, most of the time, you will see your hydraulic lifter rocker arms will look like this. Okay? That is what you will see. Now, you might say to yourself, how does this work and keep the clearance up? How do we keep the clearances? Okay, well, of course, as you can imagine, the clearances aren't down to the thousandths of an inch and yada, 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 yada. The rock arms are allowed a little bit of free play and floating, okay? Because this tip right here, like you saw before, is pretty large. And it's large enough that it allows this to move back and forth. It allows the rocker arm to move back and forth and still make good contact with the valve tip. And you've got plenty of space there in that hole there for the push rod. Now, you'll notice these washers under the bolts. I call them saddle washers because they remind me of a saddle on a horse. Okay? But you'll notice they have parts of that saddle washer that comes out. And it helps to keep these rocker arms in check, to keep them from moving too much this way on the shaft. Now, okay, what's that got to do with oil light bushings? Okay, back in the day, when we're talking like the 64, 65, 66, 273s, those engines used the oil light bushings quite a bit. Now, usually, and I'm using that word there again, usually you would pull the valve cover on a 273 back in the day, and you would pull it off, and the rocker arms would look very different. You would have adjustable rocker arms because the 273s back then were solid lifter engines, which meant you would have to come in here and you would have to adjust the rocker arms, adjust the rocker arm and valve tip clearance. So, then lots of times you would have those oil light bushings. But that's not always, 100%. If you, let's say you find a 65 model 273 today, there could be somebody could have swapped hydraulic lifters in it and just kind of set up right here. Now, as far as like durability goes, these are very, very durable. Very durable. Don't be surprised to see one of these with this kind of arrangement get 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 miles. Furthermore, your As far as like RPM capabilities, I wouldn't be surprised to see one of these setups go to 6,000, 6,500. Anything more than that, I would probably step up to something different. And if I was going to that kind of RPMs regularly, then I might step up to something a little different. But that's why I did not mention oil light bushings previous videos, and that's why I, as you can see, the other side doesn't have those oil light bushings. They would be like in here or in between here, but those were those rocker arm. Those were on the, like I said, the solid lifter 273 V8s. And I'm saying 273, but don't be surprised to see some of those solid lifter adjustable rocker arm engines on maybe even some very early 318s. I know that those adjustable rocker arms were also used on quite a few 340s in, I think, 68 and 69. Again, I'm not entirely certain of the time frame. But, okay, now that we got that out of the way, got those things out of the way, here I want to show you this. This is something I caught that I did that I'm not entirely happy with. Okay? So I'm going to correct this little problem. Okay. When I was talking about setting up your timing, checking your timing on, your small block small block engines, small block Mopar engines, I was like talking about it, but I wasn't really featuring the stuff. I didn't capture it in the video really, really well. So, my fault. So, here we go. Okay, here is your timing marks, as you can see down there. Okay. All right. It's kind of hard to capture it, but you can see it there. The notch there in the harmonic balancer, the TDC, top dead center. Now, and as we can see, here's our number one spark plug wire. Got that nice orange boot. We run it over here, and it's right there. Okay. So, if we put the distributor cap back on, there we go. Goes on right there. Okay. And there's number one. And as you can see, rotor button is pointing to number one. Now, if you want, if it makes it easier, you can take and make a mark on here with a Sharpie, and then make a mark on the distributor housing, a corresponding mark on the distributor housing with a Sharpie as well. Whatever, and you can do the same thing. You can get like a paint marker or a Sharpie and do the same thing down there on the harmonic balancer. Do note that sometimes the ring, this outer ring that I'm touching, will sometimes slip on the crank pulley. And there will be, or on the crank hub. So there will be little differences there. Sometimes. That's not always absolute. So right now this engine is on top dead center, number one cylinder on the compression strut. So now, another way you can verify that is you can pull the valve cover off, number one cylinder, okay, and you can see if you see that. Let me show you. Let me illustrate just a little bit more here what I'm doing. Well, that's not very visible, but I made marks. I guess I should have used yellow. Oh, shoot. Laid my... Okay. So, anyway. Make sure... Okay, we can see that. The camera sees that. Make sure that your push rods are loose enough to rotate between your thumb and your forefinger. That's what I'm doing right there. Now, that would mean this cylinder, number 1, is on compression stroke. Both valves are closed. Okay? So, this cylinder is getting ready to fire. Okay? Just like this one here. Incidentally, the firing orders are exactly the same. So, all of the LA small block Mopars that I've ever seen all have the same firing order. So, and which Mopar makes it really easy. Here's your distributor rotation. They put arrows there. And then they put the firing order right here. Okay. 1843 6572. Okay. So that's pretty nice. Makes it nice, makes it easy. Okay. So, all right. So if you're timing an engine, or you're checking the timing on an engine, this is what you want to do. Okay? You want to make sure that when you are on compression stroke on number 1 cylinder, you got your marks down there on your harmonic balancer. Okay? Lined up with your timing indicator on your timing cover. Your rotor button is pointing to the number 1 tower on the distributor cap. It is not pointing to the number 1 cylinder. It is pointing to the number 1 tower. Don't make that mistake. I've done that. Okay? I've done that. I made that mistake. And, yeah. Makes you look foolish. So, okay. All right. I'm going to have to wrap this video up. It's already 22 minutes long. And you all have got things to do, and I do too. So, I thank you so very, very much for watching and supporting my videos. The thumbs ups, the likes, the shares, the subscribes. I truly, truly do appreciate that. And if there is any other questions that you may have about this video, please do drop the question down below in the comment section. I will do the very best I can possibly do to answer your question as soon as I possibly can. So, and I guess again, thank you, because I truly do appreciate you all. Oh, one more other thing, and I want to stress this. I do not script these videos at all. None whatsoever. I have never written a script for any of my videos. Now, that may seem somewhat careless. That may seem like somewhat something some people can't understand. But I do not script my videos because I generally work a regular job, and I don't really have time to script my videos. But furthermore is that I come up with these ideas to make a video that I feel like is worthy of making a video, and then I just go and make the video. Okay? So, what I'm trying to get you all to understand is that this is not some, I put a lot of thought into my videos, and I'll work them out in my head and play them, basically go over them in my head, and then, after that's done, I make the video, and then I upload it, if I'm happy with it. Sometimes I will pre-watch the video. Sometimes I won't. Depends on how. But what I'm trying to get you all to do is watch the entire video instead of like 5 minutes of it, you know, or 3 minutes of it, or whatever. Because I drop information in there all along through the video, not just at the beginning or at the front or whatever, but all along through the video. So I do stress that you watch the entire video. Not that it helps the algorithm or my viewership or yada 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 or anything like that, because there's just good information I'm trying to put in there all along through the video, and if you all are watching all of it, you're not getting the full picture. Okay, so all right, thank you very much again, and God bless. Have a great one.